Welcome to Dreamy Tales, your bedtime haven. Prepare to embark on a journey of tranquility and relaxation. I'm here to weave enchanting stories that will gently guide you into a restful night's sleep. Subscribe and let the soothing whispers of Dreamy Tales be your nightly companion. The Brave Little Princess. Chapter 1. A Stormy Night. Rain pattered heavily against Princess Lila's bedroom window. Booms of thunder shook the walls of the castle, making Lila gasp and pull her blankets up to her chin. She peered out at the dark sky lit up briefly by flashes of lightning. I don't like storms, Lila said to herself, as she hugged her favorite stuffed bunny close. Just then, a crack of thunder louder than before erupted overhead. Lila yelped and scrunched her eyes shut tight. When she opened her eyes again, she gasped. The room was pitch black. Another clap of thunder crashed, and Lila dove under the covers, trembling. The lights must have gone out, she thought. But it was no use hiding. Shadows danced on her bedroom walls like towering monsters come to get her. Lila's heart pounded. She knew the shadows weren't real, but in the dark, it was hard to remember. What if something grabbed her leg from under the bed, or swiped at her from behind the curtains? She didn't have her nightlight or any candles lit. An idea came to Lila then. There were candles in the kitchen she could use. If she brought them back to her room, it would chase the shadows away. But going out into the black castle halls by herself seemed frightening. What if I come across more monsters? Lila worried out loud. Just then, a flash of lightning lit up the room, and Lila shrieked, because for a moment it looked like a hideous creature was standing at her door. But it was only a suit of armor, she realized, letting out a long sigh. It's just my imagination, Lila told herself. She had to be brave. Princesses weren't afraid of the dark. Gathering all her courage, Lila slipped out of bed with her bunny. Gripping the walls for guidance, she stepped tentatively into the hallway, heading for the candles to banish the storm's shadows for good. Chapter 2. Facing the Dark. The hallway was as black as ink. Lila held her bunny tight and slowly felt her way along the wall, her heart pounding in her chest with every boom of thunder outside. Strange creaks and groans echoed all around her, and shadowy forms seemed to dance at the edges of her vision. It's just the castle settling, that's all, Lila whispered to herself as she crept forward. But around the next corner, a loud clatter made her jump with a squeal. She spun around with her back pressed to the wall, certain a monster was about to spring out at her. After a few terrified breaths, Lila realized it was only an empty suit of armor that had been knocked over, its metal pieces scattering across the floor. She let out a nervous laugh, feeling silly for being so afraid. But it was hard not to imagine dangers in the pitch darkness. Another flash of lightning outside briefly illuminated the hallway ahead. Lila gasped. For a split second, it looked as though a hulking beast was loping towards her on all fours. But then the lighting passed, and once more, there was only inky blackness. Lila's heart was in her throat as she waited for the next flash, sure the monster would pounce. But the brief light again showed only an empty corridor. Lila smiled ruefully at herself. It's just my imagination, like I said. There's nothing scary here. Still, she walked even faster, keeping one hand on the wall and murmuring her calm phrase under her breath for reassurance. Finally, Lila reached the huge doors to the kitchen, She pushed against one with all her might, but it was too heavy to move alone in the darkness. Thinking quickly, Lila slipped inside the narrow opening she had made and felt around inside for the candles. But all she found were empty spaces on the wall. The candles must have been put away for the night. Lila started to worry. How would she light her way back now? As she scanned the black kitchen with her hands, a faint glow seemed to catch her eye from the corner. She turned sharply, just in time to see the glow disappearing underneath one of the wooden cabinets. Two small dots shone back at her from the darkness, eyes looking right at her. Lila backed away slowly, terrified whatever it was would leap out. But the glowing eyes didn't move. After a long moment, a tiny voice said, "Hello, I'm Lucy, a glowworm. Who are you?" Chapter 3. A Glow in the Dark. Lila froze in fear. Another flash of lightning revealed the source of the glowing eyes. A tiny green worm, no bigger than her pinky finger, nestled amongst some fallen cupcake crumbs. I'm Princess Lila," she said nervously. "Are you really a glowworm? Your name is Lucy?" "Yes, indeed," came the high-pitched reply. Two delicate antennae emerged from under the cabinet, followed by the soft glow of Lucy's whole body. Lila gasped at the wonder of it. "Your glow is so pretty," she said in awe. "But what are you doing under there?" "I was eating those tasty crumbs when the lights went out," explained Lucy. "Now I'm stuck, and it's hard to see. Do you think you could help me get out?" Lila nodded eagerly, happy to be distracted from her own fears. She lay down on the floor, reaching a hand under the cabinet. "Come onto my fingers, Lucy," she coaxed. "I'll lift you out safe and sound." Slowly, Lucy inched forward, her bioluminescence lighting the way. Lila stayed perfectly still as the tiny creature climbed aboard. When Lucy had gripped on tight, Lila pulled back her hand smoothly. "Thank you," beamed Lucy, as Lila lowered her to the floor. The glowworm's magic light lit up the kitchen far better than the flashes outside. Shadows retreated to the edges of the room. "You glow so bright," said Lila in wonder. "Now I won't be scared in the dark anymore." But then she remembered why she had come. "Oh no, the candles fell, and I can't reach them. What do I do?" Lucy didn't hesitate. "Show me where they are, and I'll help look," she offered kindly. Lila led the way to the counter corner, peering underneath. Sure enough, tucked right at the back were several thick white candles, just out of her grasp. "If we work together, we can do it," said Lucy confidently. She began crawling underneath, while Lila pushed herself up to reach as far as possible into the narrow space. After some wriggling and stretching, their fingers at last closed around a candle. "I've got it!" cried Lila in delight. She pulled back with Lucy, clinging to the wax. Soon, they had rescued 2 more candles, and Lila's room would be brightly lit once more. A feeling of triumph and gratitude swelled inside her tiny chest. She had faced the darkness and made a new friend, all thanks to sweet little glowing Lucy. Chapter 4. Friends to the Rescue. Lila grinned down at Lucy in her cupped hands, the candles tucked safely under one arm. "We did it," she said happily. "Thank you for all your help, little friend." "You're so welcome," replied Lucy. Her soft glow illuminated Lila's beaming face. "I'm glad I could rescue the candles just like you rescued me from under the cabinet. We make a great team." Lila nodded enthusiastically. With Lucy's light to guide the way, Navigating the dark hallways back to her room no longer seemed frightening. She walked with confidence, unafraid of the shadows flickering on the walls, thanks to her new companion. As they went, Lila and Lucy chatted about themselves. Lila told Lucy all about life in the castle, and Lucy described glowing caves deep in the forest where she lived with other glowworms. The storm still rumbled outside, but Lila was so enraptured by Lucy's story that she hardly noticed the thunder and lightning. Before long, they arrived at Lila's bedroom door. She pushed it open with her foot and hurried inside, eager to light the candles and banish the room's remaining dark corners once and for all. "Here, let me help," offered Lucy. She climbed nimbly onto the bedside table as Lila used flint and steel to spark the wicks alight. One by one, the candles caught and blazed warmly, illuminating the whole room in a soft glow. Lila sighed contentedly as the shadows fled. "Thank you for your bravery, Lucy," she said. "Without you, I'd still be too afraid to be alone in the dark." "You're the brave one," replied Lucy humbly. "Facing your fears and coming to find the candles all by yourself. I'm happy I could support you." Thunder boomed outside again, but Lila was no longer scared. With Lucy's reassuring glow and company, even the storm seemed less frightening. An idea came to her suddenly. "Lucy, since you helped drive the dark away, would you like to stay with me always?" she asked hopefully. "That way, if the lights go out again, your light will be here to comfort me right away." Lucy's eyes shone with joy at the invitation. "I would love that more than anything," she said eagerly. And so it was agreed. From that night on, the little glowworm Lucy would live in the castle and keep Princess Lila's bedroom bright and safe whenever storms came calling. Chapter 5. Fears Fade Away. True to her word, Lucy remained by Lila's side from that night on. Whenever thunder boomed in the distance, the glowworm would softly illumine her bedside drawer home, reassuring Lila even in sleep. And during storms, Lila only had to lift the drawer door to find Lucy's gentle radiance spilling out, chasing away the shadows once more. As weeks passed, Lila grew ever fonder of her dear new friend. With Lucy there, the dark held no more power over her fearful imaginings. She even looked forward to rainy evenings now, content to while away the hours chatting and playing with Lucy by candlelight. The castle staff also grew accustomed to the princess's unusual glowing pet, bringing tiny crumbs and droplets of dew for Lucy to enjoy. One moonlit night, as Lila gazed out her window at the silvery landscape, Lucy crawled onto her palm. "Look how brave you've become," the glowworm said admiringly. "The storms don't frighten you anymore, do they?" Lila smiled. "No, thanks to you. Facing the dark is easy when I know my glowing friend is by my side." She stroked Lucy's head gently with one finger. "You helped me be strong, just like a real princess." Hearing those kind words filled Lucy with warmth, brighter than any bioluminescence. She had found a dear friend and purpose, helping another conquer their fears. Just then, a rumble sounded in the distance. But where Lila may have once trembled, now she turned to Lucy with joy. "A storm is coming. Will you light the way for me as I read before the fire?" "Always," Lucy promised, glow flickering affectionately. And so the princess and her glowing companion spent many calm nights hence, facing the darkness together as the best of partners and friends. From that day on, Lila knew that with loyal Lucy beside her, even the scariest of shadows held no power. The end. the stars twinkle above, it's time for dreamy tales to bid you good night. May the soothing echoes of our stories linger in your dreams, offering you a serene escape. Until we meet again under the moonlit sky, sleep tight and sweet dreams.